Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to get started here as soon as we let folks kind of log in. Had a few little technical glitches, got them worked out. We're on our way. So as we begin today, as you're logging in, we are Facebook Living, so we want to make sure we welcome the folks there. Yep, looks like it's working. I want to make sure. I'm just going to double check. Looks like we're good. Maybe Lane, if you can let me know. Looks good on my end. So, yep. So let's just kind of get started here. We're here with the Net Effect, our special guest, Claire Stoddard, who I'll introduce a little bit more in a few minutes, but say hi, Claire.
Hello.
This is episode number 9. And thank you all for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule for this wonderful biblically based webinar series. I'm your host, Robin Jones, director of the ABF Career Alliance, and I am very excited about our program today. It is so current and so relevant, and Claire has some awesome ideas and inspiration to share with us. Before we start, make sure that you open your Q&A, and that's at the very bottom. There's a little toolbar on your Zoom toolbar that says Q&A. Click that open. Say hi Lynn, thanks. Kristen, love it, from down there in Cajun country. Hi Tara, thank you Lane. Be sure and let me know, Lane, that we're okay on live. Good, perfect, thank you. Yeah, Jeff, nice to have you. Perfect, looks like we're working. If it's not working for you, be sure that you download and run Zoom. If you have questions during the webinar, please type them in the Q&A. If you have comments, type them in. I'll make sure that all questions are open for everybody to view. Make sure, will you let me know that you can see them, see everybody's comments? That would be great. Appreciate that very much. Perfect, great. Okay, so without further ado, let me talk a little bit about Claire. Claire is a remarkable woman. I've worked with her now for, I think, 7 years. Isn't that right, Claire?
About that.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
I was very young.
That's right. She's been with us from the very beginning of the Career Alliance. She first launched her own business 20 years ago. I bet you can't believe that.
No.
She wanted to bring and create a strong marketing service with messaging at its center, and she's going to talk about what that means today. She loves to write and wanted to build a business around her core skill set. Does that resonate with any of you? Do any of you want to start your own business, or have you started your own business around your core skill set? Have you thought about that? Answer in the Q&A if you would. I really appreciate that, right? She also knew that marketing messages are the single most important component of any marketing campaign. And as president and creative director of CSA, she oversees everything that goes on within her bailiwick. And she says there's no such thing as a small client, and I love that because of so many people today with an entrepreneurial spirit. So I think without further ado, we want to welcome you, Miss Stoddard, to be here again and launch right in to our first question. And that is, you are in New Jersey, right close to the city, worked in the city so many years. So you've been kind of at the heart of this whole challenge. And I know you've seen lots of things happening. Tell us a little bit about how you've been addressing these issues and what things have been put in front of you.
Well, I think the thing, we're not unusual in the single most biggest impact of everything that's been going on is this just sudden, powerful, unprecedented change. I mean, we're all used to change. Change is the one thing that never changes. But nobody in probably most of our lifetimes have ever seen change this way. And what that has meant is that all of us kind of have had a choice. We could either, sort of settle down and say, oh God, we're just going to wait for everything to get back to exactly the way it was. Or what we can say is, well, the change has happened. There's been some terrible things that have been as a result of it. There's been tremendous tragedy, and we understand that, but we can go forward and we can take a look and see what kind of solutions, which could lead to innovation, we can bring in our lives and in our business. We work with a lot of small and mid-sized businesses, and what we're seeing, and I'm also personally, I'm very much involved in our local Chamber of Commerce. So I work and I head up one of their, as a volunteer, I head up one of their bigger committees. And so what I see is that businesses that have said, we're just going to kind of wait for it, kind of go dark and wait for it to all come back, probably are not going to come back. And the businesses that have said, okay, what can we do to meet the needs of our customer right now, which is probably an online solution. There's some of them who've never been online in terms of their businesses before.
That's hard to believe. I mean, it really is.
Well,
with all the drive. I mean,
well, we work with for instance, we work with a small business that they're motivational speakers. And the individual who is the president of the company started out as an actor and a comedian, and he has brought his skills to corporate training. He goes around, companies bring him in, and he goes around and trains people, but he does some magic, he does some comedy, it's a real show. And he loves that. He loves being in front of, as he said, if there's a mic in the house, I want to be holding it. And he has never done anything online. Well, he has created a series of online courses, and he's going to continue it once, we start coming back together again. So that's the kind of solutions and innovation that we recommend to our clients and that we're trying to do ourselves. And
and I don't mean to interrupt, but
listen,
was that?
You have to, because I'll never stop talking.
Well, that's right. But that seems like a big shift that's one of those immediate and powerful changes that has to impact his business, right? I mean, did that happen during this time? Was he able to kind of move and make that, everybody says, pivot?
His business went to zero. I mean, corporations, who's going to bring in somebody to do training with everybody gets together?
Right.
It was a very in-person, high-touch kind of service that he had. Went to zero, and it was difficult. We actually helped him create some marketing messages that got the word out about his online courses and some of the way he was doing things. And he's starting to market those services.
Got it. Well, that's pretty remarkable. One of the things that is interesting to me is when you say, I've been stretched thin. I mean, what on earth does that mean?
Well, gee, I think we can all relate to that. Stretched thin is really, there's just not enough hours in the day. You really have to, as Christian Scientists or, people with a real spiritual base, I think we're all familiar with, I always think of it as listen, follow, and rejoice. And you have to really listen to what the next step should be, because you've got so many things in front of you that you need to be doing, or you could be doing, because you're kind of doing a lot of stuff, for the first time, because we're in a very different time. And which means that sometimes you make some mistakes, you have to retrace and this and that. But it also means that there's a lot of opportunity. In addition, what we're finding with some of our clients, and we've lost some clients, you know, not everybody has felt that they could continue paying for marketing during this time, but we have had enough clients able to stay with us, and we're just doing the best we can to support everybody. And in some cases, we are delivering the same services and results for a little bit lower price. I mean, we're just very interested in keeping our clients floating. We have deferred payment. We've reduced our prices when it seems the right thing to do. And we've done some very sort of creative kind of thing. We've even offered some what we call balloon payments. If, you know, somebody wants to just pay a little bit now and then have a balloon payment due in, you know, 3 or 4 months. So we're really trying to work with our clients and companies in terms of their investment, but that means we seem to be working even harder right now for less, but that's okay. You know, we don't mind that.
Well, you know, obviously your workload's been impacted and increased, and you're bringing in, you know, new things into your business as well. So how are you staying motivated with all this people coming? You know, you've got clients going, some are putting more effort, some are going, hey, you got to help us now, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, in some cases we are having that. And, you know, as I say, in other cases, it's like check back in a few months. It's the people, you know, involved. I mean, everybody who works with CSA is very people oriented. And I really mean that. We're very service oriented. We're very concerned about everybody else. We're very concerned about, you know, businesses that are going to be open right in our neighborhood. And we're doing the best we can wherever we can to continue to support those small, you know, the pizza place and this and that.
So when you say listen, follow, and rejoice, what do you mean by that?
Well, first you've got to listen, obviously, for God's direction. And I think we all recognize this as right out of one of Mrs. Eddy's poems, which, you know, was put to music as a hymn. You know, first you've got to listen and then follow. And a lot of people, well, some people, and myself included, kind of stop there. And really, I found that the most important part is the rejoicing. And honestly, that is so motivating. You know, when you say, okay, I've listened, I've followed, you know, I am going to rejoice. And even if you're not at the end of the journey yet, we have taken this opportunity to put in some new systems.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're putting in a CRM system right now, customer relationship management. We really need to do tracking a little bit better. We're going to do some workflow systems. We're working with some outside consultants on that. Some workflow systems for content. We write a lot of content here, a lot of emails, a lot of website content, a lot of landing pages, a lot of marketing messages, brochures. You know, we really churn it out. And we have to really track all of it. And we've got it set up on Excel spreadsheets now, but then it changes, and, you know, it's been real old school. And so we said, let's get somebody in here and start to, and get some of these workflow kinds of things in place so that when we do discover what the future is going to look like, we will be set up, which is what we're recommending to other people as well.
And you've added some employees, right?
Well,
tell us. Well, in fact, isn't one of those new employees like a former guest speaker on the Net Effect and Career Alliance student? Is that, am I thinking about that correctly? Am I saying that right?
Oh, you know you are. Yes. Mandy K. Johnson has joined us. She is in her final year at Principia. Her major is social media. She had an internship at in Boston at the Publishing Society, kind of cross businesses for them.
An ABF internship, by the
And she
way.
had an ABF internship.
Mm-hmm.
She does social media at Principia, and we really needed to expand and start to offer more in the, again, we're all going online. What's happening right now, and everybody is seeing this, is that people are at home, they're working at home, and they're really engaging even more online. They're certainly, you know, driven to online, Facebook and LinkedIn and all that. We're also seeing that they are more engaged. It was a bit difficult to catch people's attention on Facebook and LinkedIn in the past, but they are really watching it a little bit better because they don't have any other distractions. So we wanted to leverage that, and we wanted to be able to offer that as even, we've always said, well, we'll do, social media posts for you. But we really wanted to dig down and drill down as to what was possible. And so we asked Mandy Kay to join us while she was going, still at Principia. And she was in her first week. We've already had her in front of our biggest client.
Wow.
And it was a home run. It was
that's so fun.
Yeah,
and you guys first met through our career connections and the fact that you were willing to be a career ally.
Yep.
And then Mandy Kay reached out to you for an informational interview, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep. And we've I don't know, I think that was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. She may have even been a freshman. She certainly was a sophomore.
She was probably a sophomore, yeah.
Yeah. And over the last 2 or 3 years, and she worked on some things on Career Alliance, which I did. So we just kept crossing paths, and I was always so impressed by her. I know she's going to head up Google at someday, or, one of them, or create her own. That would be more likely. So we consider ourselves very, very fortunate to have her join us. And then we have another young woman who heads up our marketing services efforts. So any desktop publishing, flyers, simple updates of websites, that kind of thing. And she's actually a former Sunday school student. She considers herself a Christian Scientist, although may not go to church right now, but that's okay. And certainly it's not, a requirement to work here, but it's kind of nice. And we just love having the two young women with us. And then my partner has actually been my lifetime partner for some time, and he has just come in and joined the business. He has a very strong marketing background, so we can bring that to everything. So we went from me sitting here at my computer, churning out copy to, we quadrupled, not in terms of hours because people are part-time and virtual, but in terms of the number of people we have, we quadrupled within a year or a year and a half.
Claire, I would say that's an amazing pivot of innovation.
And I'm telling you, it was not me. I mean, I could not have, I really prayed about it. I really listened. I followed the best I could. I'm not saying that every time I heard correctly. Sometimes I had to backtrack, but I can only rejoice. And that's sure motivating.
Well, I know that you work with the chamber quite a bit, and I know that it's been an interesting journey for you, and there's been lots of new things and places that you've kind of seen within the chamber to help grow your business and actually probably help grow and develop your ability to reach out to new people and network. Tell us a little bit about why it's important to talk to professionals in lots of different career pathways and that are doing different jobs and may not be in the marketing and branding arena.
Yeah, it's probably one of the single most important things you can possibly do. Whether you're looking for a new job, or you're thinking that down the road you might want to expand your span of control, or you might be a later in life job changer. Talking to other people, is so important, and it's important to not. It's actually good to talk to competitors if you possibly can, but you need to talk to people that are more or less in your space, You know, and by that I mean your general industry. And then, I mean, for instance, for us, you know, that would include website designers, you know, trade show people, you know, anybody who is, any marketing people.
So do you have
But
like
it's also,
do you have like an elevator speech, or do
oh
you,
yeah.
how do you, I mean, it's like 30 second, I mean, he's prospecting, or is it, how do you approach that?
Well, what you have to do is you have to kind of have different lengths of time in mind.
Ah,
What we do in the chamber is we will go around what we call around the table, and right now it's around the Zoom table, and we let everybody speak for maybe 30 seconds, depending upon the venue, might be a minute. For me, I always introduce myself, you know, as president of Claire Stoddard Associates and the creative director, and our tagline is, we make the words that sell and we sell the words we make,
ah,
which is a perfect introduction if I have the time that I can talk a little bit about what that means. But so, and then it's very, very important, at least this is what we do. You have to give them a little bit of a snapshot of who you are, what makes you different, and what makes us different is we make the words that sell, as opposed to people who write, you know, articles or don't have a persuasion focus to what they write. And then you have to keep in mind the ask. And it's very, very important to always include that ask. And I'll tell you the truth, going around the table at some of the chamber meetings, I'm kind of surprised at the people who don't have the ask ready. You have to know what it is you want people to tell you or give you. And
mm-hmm,
don't be shy. You know,
mm-hmm,
I'll start out, you know, I'll say, we're looking for new clients. You know, we need some new clients.
gotcha.
And that doesn't make me sound or us sound like we're hurting or anything like that. Everybody can understand it. And then I'll say, we're looking for new clients and we're specifically looking for clients in this area. Right now, I'm looking for people because of some of the other clients we have in the mobility area. So they make mobility devices. That would be a very good area for us to get a client in. Put that out there, went to a chamber meeting, you know, this past week, put that out there, got 2 very good leads. So it's, and then if you talk, so anybody in any industry can know somebody for you. The other thing is, it's always really good to notice what changes are going on in other industries that might be parallel to yours.
I
You
like
know,
that. Yeah.
are they, yeah, are they doing more of a certain something
Mm-hmm.
than that you might apply to what it is you're doing? So yeah, it's real, and it's important to, I mean, I say conventional wisdom says it takes 7 to 10 touches to get your message across to any one person. We say it takes 7 to 10 touches across channels
Mm,
to get the lead that leads to business for
mm-hmm,
you.
mm-hmm.
So
And
you, and that's how we create content for our customers as well. We will create content that goes right across, and we keep repurposing. And that's that repetition makes for recognition, you
I
know,
like it.
is a great slogan. You have to keep repeating what it is you want to as many different people or across as many different channels as you possibly can.
And you're really good at targeting your message, and you've also talked about, you know, your innovation. When you look at don't go, stay dark, what do you mean by that?
Well, at the very beginning, you know, 3 months ago when, you know, the world just suddenly closed down, and I kind of alluded to this early on, what we were seeing was people were going dark. And all that means is you never heard from them. They were just sitting back, you know, and of course my focus is businesses.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and we were seeing a lot of businesses that just, you know, they kind of sat back and waited. Well,
mm-hmm,
at
mm-hmm.
this point, so we were telling everybody this is the worst time in the world for you to go dark.
Got it.
And, you know, some of them listened to us and got some marketing messages out there, and some of them didn't. So now at this point, 3 months later, we're saying, listen, you may have gone dark back in March, or, but don't stay dark. You've
Right.
got to get out there now. And the conversation has changed. Um, the whole conversation has been on the coronavirus. That is what everybody is talking about. We know that. It was all about the virus, all businesses. But what we're seeing now is the conversation is changing, and people are talking about when we get back, how we get back. So what you need to do, whether you're somebody who has a business, try to help your customers, show them how you can help them come back and not stay dark. And if you're somebody who's looking for a job, this is a perfect opportunity for you to say to a potential employer, I can help get you out there. Here's how. You may have been, maybe you were one of the ones who kind of sat back and didn't do anything. Well, you can help them with that. Or maybe they were real aggressive and, we're spending some money and staying out there. You can jump right on that bandwagon. But I think the trick is to kind of piggyback on what's going on right now and fashion your message to meet the conversation that we're hearing right now.
Well, I think all of that's just wonderful information, and it's just terrific. And I wonder, I looked around for some resources for certifications and associations for people, if they want to make that transition or they want to find some education and kind of help develop some of those skills that are in this new economy where, like yourself, you've just hired people, you've added people to your firm. There are other firms that are doing the same thing.
Right.
So there are lots of different places that you can find to help educate, to acquire skills, to get new things to add into your resume and into your portfolio. And Coursera, these are all free courses that are offered online through Coursera. So there's places for people to go so that they can learn, they can acquire new skills, and they can begin to incorporate that into their job search or into their own business, so they have a better understanding, right? So, that's probably helpful for you when you can speak to a business owner or, small or medium-sized business and they have a little bit of an understanding, so that it probably makes your conversation and the work that you do the starting point at a higher level. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, it really is. And I'll just say one other thing. This is a wonderful list. These are wonderful lists you've come up with.
Thank you. Yeah.
They really are. And I'll just say a couple of other things. In order to be successful, you have to be a continuous learner. Just because somebody has graduated from college, or even, a higher educate, a master's degree in something, it doesn't end there. It's very, very important to keep learning. Take a course, all the time. I take a ton of online free webinars and courses that just expand my skill set, give me a little bit better way of looking at businesses, how to build this business. So it's really, really important. Whatever you take, just remember you have to continuously learn. You will never stop learning if you want to really be successful.
Well, we have lots of resources also at the Career Alliance, and we just added to our careeralliance.org website the past webinars. We're adding those, and we've created a tab in our resource section called Career Resources Net Effect, Career Conversations and Connections. So if you want to learn more about a specific field or want to hear a past speaker like Scott Walker on, or Mike Mooslin, you can go now to the website and find that there. So in thinking about wrapping up and maybe some final Q&A, Claire, one of the things that I would love to know,
Mhm.
as a small business owner, what are you recommending to someone who might be, how do you move them out of the entrenched thought? You know what I mean? If they, well, I've done business like this and I know it's going to,
Oh,
I mean, how do you move them away from, the fact that they're still kind of hanging on? They're still, they're not pivoting, so to speak.
well, I think the planet has kind of given them a good nudge right now. Um, if somebody, you can only talk to them, you can only offer them some ideas. Sometimes you can work with somebody and just start brainstorming with them and really start, saying, well, have you considered looking at this way? Have you considered looking at that way? Sometimes people do get aha moments and they can really, kind of catapult them forward. And that's just an amazing thing to watch. There are some people who just, just want to do it. I mean, it's the way we've always done it. I mean, that just drives me nuts. But, we hear this a lot in our daily lives. We hear it in church. It's the way we've always done it, and we just don't want to change. Well, I'm afraid that those people are going to be somewhat left behind. I mean, think about the people, and granted, there aren't many of these, but people who just never adopted technology and maybe even don't have a computer. Well, think how much they're left out of things now. You have to fight for it. I am not the most technologically inclined person in the world. I fight for it. I mean, I've stayed up until midnight trying to learn some piece of software, some app, and then I still have to get help from somebody. Sometimes you really have to fight for it, but you know what? God is so creative. I mean, he's so innovative. He has so many ideas that we can't even begin to fathom right at this point. And I think that any of us who kind of, latch on to that way of thinking and then, listen, follow, rejoice, you can't, just suddenly some idea comes to you and you say, where did that come from? Sometimes when I'm writing and my thinking is really extends out, into my computer. I mean, sometimes I think I can barely think without my computer, my keyboard. But I think, where did that idea come from? That's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't me, obviously. It was a long, many years of prayer and knowing who the creator, who the project manager is. I think of God sometimes as my project
I
manager,
like it. I
my
like it.
lead. It's whatever I need. I think, hey, that's God.
Well, I
God's
hope
doing.
that's resonating with you folks listening, because I tell you what, that resonates with me, and I appreciate hearing that. Yeah, you're right on.
So that's it.
Oh, well, I love it. I think we'll move forward. I think it's been a terrific session. I do want to mention to our listeners that we have posted just this week, in the last several days, these new job postings that you can find on our Connections and Jobs board at the abfcareeralliance.org. And, one of the things that I did want to feature this week a little bit was Christian Science nursing. And, like you said, God unfolded, and by gosh, here comes some job postings in Christian Science nursing. We all know and love and appreciate that we need Christian Science nurses. But there are other things you can do if, in fact, that's not what it seems to be that you're being led to. So, a business associate or a facilities manager or a housekeeper. So there's lots of opportunities to serve the cause of Christian Science and Christian Science nursing in different ways. So just to let you know, they're there. Go to the job board. All you gotta do is click that little orange button if you go the job seeker pathway, and you can find those jobs at the Career Alliance. If you want to talk with our wonderful, lovely speaker, Ms. Stoddard, all you have to do is go to the abfcareeralliance.org and any tab, job seeker, career ally, or student, and you'll see our Twitter feed on the right-hand side. I put the link in there for you, so it's real easy. All you have to do is click on that link, and it'll take you right to a connection, and you can request the connection. I'm also going to launch our poll. As you all know, that's a really important thing for me and for the Albert Baker Fund, to let us know what you think and let us know how we've done today. And while you're out there, be sure and follow us on Facebook or like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I'll ask one other thing: like our posts. If you're learning something, you're finding this valuable, you're seeing a connection to our community, share it with your friends, share it with your family, invite them to join us. We'd love to have them. So again, just thinking about what we're doing here, we really are looking at casting our net and out there in the right manner, not just throwing it out willy-nilly. It's like what Claire says, you need to innovate, you need to have focus, you need to have direction. So that's what we're looking for, and certainly hoping to accomplish with our guests and our weekly webinar series. And if you're not a career ally, you should become one. This week, in fact, the last couple of days, we had some really cool ones come in with new career connections. An aquarist, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and biologist. I can say that word for sure. The Texican comes in, sorry. And then human resources in Christian Science nursing. In fact, the human resource career ally that's coming in is going to be a special guest in a couple of weeks. His name's Franklin Harris. So he's new to the Career Alliance, and is in fact posted the job for facilities manager. So let's keep this momentum going. Tell your friends about the Career Alliance. I encourage you all to register and post a career connection, and you'll meet someone like Mandy Kay, like Claire did, and you may find a way to help them find a job or even hire them. So thank you, Claire. It was marvelous.
My pleasure.
It was just great content, wonderful, inspiring ideas that you shared with us today. We thank you so much for your support of the Career Alliance and the Albert Baker Fund. Claire also serves as a regional ambassador, interviewing our students. So she is all in, boy, and we really appreciate it. And thanks to our incredible team at the Albert Baker Fund. They're wonderful, wonderful group of folks. Ann Kennedy, Jeff Thompson, Carol, Donna, Jill Stucker, and our new CEO, Mr. Joe Ritter. We just appreciate everything you're doing in support of what's happening here. So remember, if you have any questions, email me. Or you like more information, email me. If you're struggling with your registration, email me. If you need to try to help someone and you're finding, email me. And reach out to Claire. She has terrific resources and great ideas and a wonderful person to talk with. So I thank you all for your time. Appreciate everything that you're doing. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.